Hey guys, it has been a while since we put out a video. Today's video we're going to be talking about modifying Hawk Helium sticks. But I'd like to mention also that we are still out there hanging stands, checking trail cameras, and we have identified a couple of shooter bucks that we'd like to shoot here come September 7th here in Kentucky. I've also been working on a John boat this summer. I've got it set up for some public land access. Maybe later on in November if I can't get on one of these bucks here early. So if you would, go and hit that subscribe button and follow us along during the hunting season. But to the subject of why we made this video is Hawk Helium sticks. There's many videos out there. There's many, I guess you'd say, popular on YouTube people that have done this, and I don't think they've done it right. And I'm putting this video out here more of a safety concern for those who have done it, or those who, like me, couldn't wait for them to show up so I could get started doing it. So the main thing is everybody wants to cut them to 22 inches. You say, why 22 inches? I guess that's just what they want. The problem with 22 inches, this bottom step, when you put it at 22 inches, this bolt will be right against that slot. There won't be an 1/8 inch of meat left when you do that. And it's not a matter if it's going to break, it's a matter of when it's going to break. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want one to break with me. I'm not trying to make a Christmas tree out of that tree and leave a couple fuzzy ornaments on this little short stick when my tether gives way, and guess what lands right here? Neutered, spayed, whatever the case may be, depending on your gender. This old boy ain't trying to do that. So I got mine out, I watched the videos, I come out here and looked at it, I thought, that's not going to work. I'm not doing that because this is cast aluminum. Cast aluminum is the lowest grade aluminum that you can get. It's not 6061, it's not 7075 alloys. This is just cast aluminum, and I'm not saying they're no good. What I'm saying is, for what they're made for, it is fine. The problem with cast aluminum is, if you've done this, you won't know that this thing is getting weaker until it breaks. You're not going to see little stress cracks. It's not going to make no noise. It's just going to pop and be done with it. You say, well, how do you know that? Well, I'm not an engineer, and I'd also like to say, anytime you mess with what's been designed and been tested, you have assumed all risk for messing with your own stuff. Liability is on you at that point. The best thing to do is not modify anything. Use it the way they come. If it don't suit you, wait till something comes out that does. But if you are going to do it, and let's be honest, we just typically, most of us do, we want to change something. So what I come up with was 22.5 inches, and the reason why is it places that bolt directly in the center of the lower and upper slots, which will give you a whole lot more strength. Now it does cause the bottom, if you cut it to 22 inches, you will eliminate these little tabs, but this isn't going to weaken this. The strength from this standoff comes from this channel that you can see right here. As long as all that's still there, you're good to go. This thing isn't gonna wiggle, it ain't gonna shake. That's not gonna hurt that. Having very little above this bolt, as you can see, they cam. So when you push down on this step is putting pressure against the strut in here, and that pressure is then pushed to this bolt, is then pushed up and out. So as it does that, eventually it's going to snap. I mean, it's going to. It might not be this year, it might be next year. So if you've done this, please be careful, because they are going to break. I guarantee it, they are going to break at some point. It might be the first time you climb it. It might be, well, it definitely be the last time you climb it when they break. But if you would, just go on and cut them to 22 inches. And you say, there's people, oh, well, that's 1.5 inches more of this material I got to carry. That's marginal weight, but some people care about the weight. Well, I'm going to give you an idea you could do to save that amount of weight. 1.5 inches of this stuff weighs no more than 1 arrow out of your quiver. Take 1 arrow out of your quiver, guess what? You back to even. Better than that, we all carry a pocket full of keys. Take your truck keys off your regular keychain, leave them in the truck, just take your truck key right there. You saved the weight. Go and leave that 1/2 inch on there, it's very important. And the spacing that I used was similar to what's been put out there. I am a machinist, so I deal with metal every day. And I have the ability to put it right exactly where they were off the end original. I can measure it out. I can put it down to the 1,000. That's what I chose to do. Just like the guy's got 75-acre food plot somewhere. He's got the money, he's got the field, he's got the farm equipment. More power to him. But this is one thing that I can do right, so I chose to do it right. The spacing that I used is this bolt here is 320 thousandths off of the bottom. These two bolts are 2 inches and 362 thousandths, or 60 millimeters from the bottom. They are spaced out 1.063 inches, which is basically 1 inch and a 16, or I think 27 millimeters. But I realize everybody can't do that. So you say, how can I do that? Well, when you cut this stick off, you're going to have a 7.5 inch drop. And you say, well, how am I going to cut it off exactly? The other videos show, you know, you could saw it many ways. You could take a cut off blade on a grinder and cut them off. The most consistent way the average guy is going to be able to do it, if he's got a chop saw, set that chop saw up and mount it. And then, say your saw is right here, come down here and mount you a stop. Say your saw blade is hitting right here, mount you a stop. If you got a wood table, just put you something in and drive you a nail. That way you cut all 3 sticks exactly the same length. And once you do that, you're going to get a drop. And that drop's going to have a nice clean end that you started with, the original end. You're going to take it and you're going to lay it on your new end. And you're going to butt it up exactly to where it's at. Now, first of all, I'd like to say this hole and this hole are not through holes on this thing. These are just self-tapping screws that go in there. But there is a hole in there, and it's I use 5/32 to drill into mine. Maybe just a shade big. You might could get away with 9/64. It's a smaller size. Whatever that size is, get you a good set of drill bits. Find the hole size. Drill these 2 holes all the way through it first. All the way through it. Then you'll take that drop and you'll clamp it on here. Now you see some of the other videos, they say, well, you can make a cardboard jig and lay it out. I guess you could, but I don't know why you'd want to. When you already cut this off, you've already got the jig that you need. You just need a couple C-clamps, clamp it down, square it up, clamp it down. Take the drill bits. This one right here, I used a 15/64, which is 2/34. These are 6 millimeter bolts, which are 2/36. So I drilled them just slightly undersized, but a drill bit always drills a little big, and I like to leave as much meat and have as tight a fit as possible. You could use a 1/4 inch. It'll work. It'd probably make it easier putting it back together. But I chose to use, you know, 2/34 as my drill bit. And that was for all 3 of these holes. This hole and this hole, as I said, I used 5/32. Somewhere in that area. Whatever size hole's in it, try to find a drill bit that fits it as close as possible. Drill them holes all the way through. Put it down on here, clamp it down good and tight, then use your existing drop off of it to drill all the holes in it. It's that simple. It's not hard to do. You don't have to go through all the complicated stuff figuring out what these are. I can tell you, like I said, I could tell you, but you've already got a pattern when you cut it off. Just use that pattern to put it back in there, and when you get done, it will stack just as good as they did the first time. So that's why I want to make this video. I think there's a lot of people out there running those sticks that need to be aware that at any time they could snap and could break, and I don't think that's the right way. Go with 22.5 inches. Be safe. Keep your holes in the center of the slots. Don't put them too close to the edge. I'm telling you, it will break. It's just a matter of time. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was informative. I hope it saved somebody from getting impaled on top of one of these sticks once they cut it off. You know, 22 inches, like I said, it's a terrible height. You think about it. If you were standing on this stick, where this thing would actually be hitting you once you hit the end of your tether, you're going to be in a bad situation. I don't care if you didn't fall out of the tree. You're not going to have any more kids. Let's just put it that way. So I hope this helps somebody. I hope it saves somebody a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. And if you would, please hit the subscribe button. That would help me out a whole lot. I appreciate it.